"We're not your servants," my parents said, laughing when I asked for one simple favor. Funny because I had played that role for years, paying their bills while my sister did nothing. So they were shocked when I. "We are not your servants," my parents said, laughing when I asked for one simple favor. It was funny because I had been playing that role for years, paying their bills, covering emergencies, making sure they never needed help with anything. Meanwhile, my sister Jenna did nothing. And they never asked her to. At first I thought it was just favoritism, the usual golden child nonsense. Jenna had always been cheerful, someone who could barely make ends meet, but was full of charm. I was responsible, reliable, the one who did everything. But as soon as I asked them to pick up my daughter from kindergarten only once because I was stuck at work, they laughed as if I had suggested something ridiculous. "We have raised our children. It's not our job anymore." This moment is etched in my memory. It was not just about the service. It was about the way they brushed me aside as if my struggle didn't matter. Like I was just an ATM machine. That's why they were shocked when I stopped paying their bills. At first they thought I had forgotten. My mom called, her voice was sweet, and asked if I had a busy month. Then the next bill came and my dad sent a text message, the usual one. "Hi, the mortgage is unpaid, is everything okay?" I let them sweat it out. Then Jenna called. "Mom and Dad are worried. Did you forget to send the money?" "No," I answered. "I didn't forget." She fell silent. "Wait, are you serious?" "Seriously." The silence dragged on. Then she laughed as if I was joking. "Okay, come on, what's going on?" "I'm done." That was the moment when everything changed. I thought they would get angry, maybe feel guilty, but what happened next? I never thought it would be like this. At first I thought they would call me, demand an explanation. Maybe even apologize. But the silence stretched on for days. No text messages, no guilt-inducing voice messages, nothing. Then out of nowhere my mom wrote on Facebook. "Some people forget where they come from. It's sad." My name wasn't mentioned, but I knew it was about me. The comments were a mixture of sympathy and passive-aggressive jabs from relatives who had no idea what was really going on. Jenna, of course, was thrilled. "You deserve better than that. Some people are just selfish." I was stunned. Selfish? After we had been paying their mortgage, utilities, and even bailing Jenna out for years when she screwed up? I wasn't going to argue online, so I just ignored him. Then the calls started. Not from my parents, but from relatives. Aunt Linda called first. "Betty, honey, I don't know what's going on, but your mom is very upset. You know they don't like to ask for help, right?" I almost laughed. "They don't ask for help? I've been paying their bills for years." Linda hesitated. "Oh, I didn't know that." "Of course you didn't. Because they never talk about how much I've done for them. Only that I forgot where I came from." This call ended awkwardly and others followed. My uncle, a cousin I hadn't spoken to in years. They all had the same message. "Just help them, they are your parents." But I didn't give in. Then Jenna showed up on my doorstep. I opened the door and she just stood there, arms crossed, shaking her head. "Mom is crying. She doesn't understand why you treat them like this." I stepped aside to let her in, but she didn't move. "Do you really think they deserve this?" she asked. I crossed my arms. "Really?" She frowned. "What does that mean?" "When was the last time you paid their bills, Jenna?" She looked away, mumbling something about not making as much money as I did. I didn't believe her. I expected her to admit something, anything. Instead, she sighed dramatically. "Are you really going to let them fight?" I shook my head. "No, Jenna. I'm going to let them work it out. Just like they told me." She scoffed. "You're being ridiculous." And she left. I closed the door, feeling proud that I had remained steadfast. But that pride didn't last long because the next thing they did was something I never expected. A week passed and I thought that maybe, just maybe, they would finally get it. That they would realize that I was not their personal bank account. And then I got a call from my bank. "Hi, Ms. Carter. We just wanted to confirm a payment request from your account for $2,500 to an external recipient." I almost dropped the phone. What? No, I didn't authorize that." The representative hesitated. "It was done using online banking credentials." My stomach turned. There was only one person who had access to my online banking, my mom. I had given it to her years ago when I helped her pay the bills before I set up automatic payments. I was going to close her access but never got around to it. I rushed to check my account. Sure enough, the money had already been withdrawn. I immediately called my mom. She answered the second call, her voice light as if nothing had happened. Hello, dear. I was just thinking about you. I didn't make small talk. Did you withdraw money from my account? Silence. Then a soft laugh. Oh, honey, don't be so dramatic. We just needed a little help this month and I knew you'd want to. I interrupted her. You stole from me. She was furious. That's a harsh word. No, it's not. It's the right word. She sighed as if this was hard on me. We raised you, Betty. We did everything for you. And now you're acting like this for a little help. A little help? I trembled. I told you I wasn't paying anymore. And you just took it. You didn't return our calls, she said as if that justified it. I was so stunned I could hardly think. I trusted them. I believed no matter what that they would never cross that line. I took a deep breath. Send him back. Now. Her tone hardened. We can't. It's already been used. I felt sick to my stomach. For what? Groceries. The bills. Your father needs new tires. I hung up the phone. For the first time in my life, I blocked my mother's number. Then I called the bank. I filed a fraud report. The account was blocked. The passwords were changed. An hour later, Jenna texted me. Wow. Calling the bank because of your own parents? That's low. I stared at the message, disbelief turning to rage. It was no longer just about money. It was about trust. And they had destroyed it. I thought that was the worst. I was wrong. Because the next thing they did was beyond anything I could have imagined. After my accounts were blocked, I expected some kind of reaction. Maybe another round of exposure, maybe more posts on Facebook. But I was not prepared for what happened next. 3 days later, when I came home from work, I saw an envelope taped to my door. There was no return address. Only my name, written in my mother's handwriting. Inside was a letter. Beatty, we didn't want it to come to this, but you left us no choice. Since you refuse to help your own family, we need to make sure everyone knows what kind of person you really are. I kept reading, my heart pounding. You think you're better than us because you make more money, but don't forget where you came from. We sacrificed everything for you and now you're turning your back on us? That's cruel, Betty. It's heartless. I swallowed hard. Then I got to the last line. If you don't want things to get worse, you'll make the right choice. We are giving you one last chance. No specifics. No outright threats. But the subtext was clear. They wanted me to pay or else. I sat down, clutching the letter, my mind racing. What did they mean by worsening the situation? Were they going to try to destroy my reputation? Involve even more family in the case? Then my phone rang. Jenna. I let it go to voicemail. A minute later, a message came through. You better fix this before it gets out of hand. That was it. No explanation. No apology. Just a warning. I was tired of playing their games. I grabbed my keys and drove straight to my parents' house. If they wanted a fight, they would get it now. I knocked on the door. A few seconds later, my father opened the door. He was surprised to see me. Beatty. Where's Mom? I interrupted him. She appeared behind him, arms crossed. So you got our letter. I picked it up. What the hell is this? Her expression didn't change. It's the truth. No, it's blackmail. She scoffed. Blackmail? Oh, honey, you're being dramatic again. I went inside. Tell me what you mean by, things are getting worse. She didn't answer. Dad shifted uncomfortably. Look, Are you trying to threaten me? I demanded. Mom sighed as if I had exhausted her. You're making this harder than it needs to be, Betty. We just need some help. That's all. I laughed bitterly. Help? You stole from me. We borrowed, she corrected. Family helps family. Not like this. She shook her head. You know, Jenna would never do this to us. I snapped back. Jenna does nothing for you. Dad held up a hand. Okay, that's enough. Let's just dash. But my mom didn't finish. You think you're punishing us, but you're only hurting yourself. If you don't fix this, you're going to regret it. I froze. Here it was. A real threat. I took a slow breath. What are you planning? He just smiled. And that was it. That was the moment when I realized that they would not stop. So I made a decision right then and there. I would no longer be their puppet. I looked her in the eye. Do whatever you want. I will not pay for anything anymore. Then I turned around and walked out. I expected them to call me after them to try to make me surrender one last time. But they didn't. And that scared me, because whatever they were planning next would be bad. I didn't hear anything from them for a few days. No calls. No messages. No more mysterious letters. It was eerie, like the calm before the storm. And then it hit. It all started with a phone call from my boss. "Hi Bethy, I just received a strange letter about you. I thought you should know." My stomach dropped. What kind of letter? There was a pause. "From someone who claims to be a family member. Says you're stealing from them. That they tried to settle things privately, but you refused." I felt like the air had been knocked out of me. "You're joking." "I wish I was." He sighed. "Look, I don't believe it. But the HR department got the same letter. It doesn't look good." I clenched my jaw. Of course it didn't. They were trying to destroy my reputation. If I didn't give them the money, they would make sure I lost my job. "Is there anything I need to do?" I asked. "No. The HR department doesn't take it seriously, but you might want to follow up." I hung up the phone, my hands shaking. Then my phone started buzzing incessantly. Text messages. From cousins, distant relatives, even a few mutual friends. "Beth, what's going on? Did your mom write something about you stealing? I don't believe what they're saying, but you should probably clear it up. Your parents say you left them after they gave you everything. Is that true?" I opened Facebook. At the top of my mom's page was a post that made my blood boil. "It's a sad day when your own child betrays you. After all we sacrificed, she turned her back on us, and to make matters worse, she took our money and lied about it. We tried to keep it a secret, but we can't keep quiet any longer. Please pray for us." The comments were a mixture of sympathy and outrage. Some people, family members who didn't know about it, were angry with me. "How could she do this to you?" Some people forget where they came from. "She always seemed so nice. I guess we didn't really know her." I felt sick to my stomach. They were no longer just trying to make me feel guilty. They were trying to destroy me. And Jenna, of course, was in the comments, adding fuel to the fire. I just wish she would have talked to them instead of being so selfish. Family is everything. And that was it. I didn't play nice anymore. I took a screenshot of the post. Then I made my own. "I have been silent for quite some time. Since my own family wants to lie about me, let's set the record straight. I paid their bills for years and my sister did nothing. When I finally said no, they stole from me. And now what? They are spreading lies to destroy my career and reputation. Believe what you want, but I'm done being their ATM machine." I hit the mailbox and sat back down, my heart pounding. The reaction was immediate. Some people supported me. Some were shocked. Others attacked me for publicizing family matters. Then my mom called. I switched it to voicemail. 30 seconds later, Jenna texted me. "Take down this post immediately." I didn't reply. I had exposed them, and they were panicking. But the war is not over yet. Because the next step they took, it was worse than anything they had done before. After my post, the situation quickly escalated. Jenna doubled down on the attacks, calling me a liar in the comments. My mom played the victim, telling me how heartbroken she was that her own daughter was publicly humiliating her parents. Some family members took my side. Others were furious with me. But none of this prepared me for what happened next. A week later, I received a summons. My parents were taking me to court. I stared at the papers in disbelief. An official lawsuit? Financial exploitation of the elderly. I wanted to scream. Exploitation? I had been giving them money for years, not taking it. I called a lawyer. He looked over the case and sighed. "It's not strong. They have nothing to stand on, but they are trying to intimidate you." I wasn't scared, I was angry. Then he said something that made my blood run cold. "They probably hope you will make a deal. Give them money to forget about it." And then I realized everything. It wasn't about justice. It wasn't even about reputation. It was about control. They had lost control of me, and this was their last attempt to force me back to my seat. So I fought back. I collected every receipt, every bank transfer, every dollar I ever gave them. I had proof that I had sent them money. Proof that they had taken from me, not the other way around. When we finally got to court, their case fell apart almost immediately. The judge saw right through them. My lawyer didn't even have to do anything. The case was dismissed. And what's the most interesting thing? My lawyer advised me to file a counterclaim for damages. I did just that. And I won. They had to return the stolen money to me. But by that time I didn't care about the money anymore. I was done with them. Jenna tried to get in touch after the case was over. Mom and Dad are in a tough spot right now. Are you really going to leave them like this? I didn't even answer. They were no longer my problem. For the first time in my life I was free.